Hello everyone and welcome to a review of Harry Potter Mischief in Diagon Alley. This is a dice-based family weight sort of game where you're going to be rolling dice as quickly as possible to try and get items in and out of your store or trunk. Let's teach you how to play the game and then I'll go on to my thoughts. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to take a store from Diagon Alley. They're going to take the board and at the bottom it will denote the type of item that they are trying to sell in their store. So for instance, Ollivanders is trying to get wands because that's what he sells. So you're trying to get that item, but at the beginning of the game you're going to get a lot of stuff that doesn't belong in your store. You're then going to take 3 dice. It's not just any 3 dice from the pool. You're going to take 1 item dice, 1 number dice, the quantity dice, and finally a direction dice. The number of stuff that is on your board is dependent on the player count, but when that is done, it's time to say 3, 2, 1, Wingardium Leviosa, and everyone is off. At that point, you are rolling the dice, and then based on the combination, you're doing something. So in this case, I have rolled right, books, and 1. Now, I'm not the bookshop, and I've got a book on my player mat. That means I can pass to the right 1 book, because that's what the dice have allowed me. If I didn't have any books, well, I wouldn't be able to do it. Or, if I was after the books, I'd be able to take 1 book from the player to my right. At that point, I've done my action and I roll the dice. I'm not waiting for everyone else around the table to finish theirs. And I've then rolled. I can take 2 wild, so anything I want, which will be the chocolate frogs, because that's what I'm after here, from the player on my left. So I check if they've got any of the chocolate frogs. If they have, I can take up to 2 of them and add them to my store. The aim of the game is very simple. You keep rolling the dice until you only have your store's items in your store. So in this case, I'm after chocolate frogs. Even if I've only got 1, as soon as I've got rid of everything else, these books for instance, then I have won the round and I say Mischief managed. The person that manages this is going to get 3 gold galleons, and that's helping them towards victory as it's the first to 11. Then everyone around the table, not just the person that finished the round, is going to work out if they get points too. Now to do this, you take away the number of items that you've got that you're not supposed to have, so say this broom and the book, but maybe an owl, and you take that from the number of items you're supposed to have, so chocolate frogs. So let's say I had 3 chocolate frogs and 2 items I wasn't supposed to have. You take 2 from 3, I have 1 left over, so I'd gain an additional galleon. If you had less, you wouldn't get any negative consequences, so you're not going to be losing galleons you had before if this round you just didn't manage to get any items you were supposed to have. Like I said, it's the first person to get 11 gold galleons is the winner. Now there are 2 variants and they allow you to swip your board over and use the trunk side. The first mode, you are trying to get everything that you need for Hogwarts. You're trying to get 1 of every item. Rolling the dice and trying to get them in the same way. You're trying to get the items, in this case, into your trunk, and the first person to do so is going to win the round. The final twist is that you're just trying to get rid of everything, and again, you're going to gain a galleon for doing that fastest. And these are the 3 modes. You've got the main one with the 2 slight variants. So this is very clearly aimed towards families because you are very fast and frantically trying to roll the dice and hope, oh yes, I can get rid of that book and stuff like that. There is a central area that you can move to depending on if you roll the dice correctly or onto the wild symbol. So it's not always just taking from the players on your left and right. You're not going to be interacting with the person opposite you in a 4-player game though, or more. It's always just left and right. So it keeps it very simple. Roll the dice, do what it says, and then roll them again quickly, and hopefully you'll get what you need and get rid of what you don't. Now, it's not going to be an in-depth game that's going to be capturing the hearts and minds of everyone, but for that fast, frantic dice rolling, that's exactly what you're going to be getting here. Now, there's a couple of nice bits. As I alluded to there is a wild place and there is also a wild item, and they just help you feel like you're never getting screwed over by the dice, because you have just that extra chance of getting the item you want or getting rid of the item you don't want, or from a location. Otherwise, it would be really irritating if you kept rolling, say for me, the chocolate frogs, but I kept going to the person that didn't have them. Every now and again you'll get that wild or the other direction, because it just increases your odds, your chances of rolling what you need. And those just make it feel like the dice are a little bit more on your side. Now, production-wise, they've done a really good job with this. The dice are really clear and obvious which direction, which number and which item you're supposed to be doing. And that helps just quickly, as you've glanced, rolling the dice, you can see what you're supposed to do. The only slight complication is if two players are frantically rolling and their dices mix. At that point, you have to quickly, awkwardly sort of separate the three dice that you need and roll them again, because there's no way of knowing whose are whose. It would have been maybe nice if the dice had just slightly different colours so you'd know which ones were yours sort of when you're rolling. But as long as you're rolling them not too badly and in your player area almost, then it's not going to be a problem. But if you're throwing them across the table because you're trying to do things fast, that's when that problem could creep up. Now, again, they're nice dice. They could have been maybe a little bit bigger, but they're clear and obvious what you're supposed to be doing. The tokens that you're sort of throwing to your opponents or grabbing, they're nice thick cardboard, as are the player boards. So you're not having to worry there. I'm very sort of impressed. Some games would almost come with just like a paper sheet of thickness card for these sort of things. But they're really nice. They are relatively distinctive of which ones you've got. Some are a little bit more similar, less similar, more similar than this. There's another sort of reddy coloured storefront, for instance. But very obviously in the bottom corner you can tell the item that you're supposed to be going for. Or when you're on the trunk side, it doesn't matter as much because you're not necessarily going for a specific item. So all in all, the production quality is actually impressive. I didn't expect it to be I didn't expect these tokens to be quite as thick or the dice to be as easily readable, mostly because they're a little small. But all in all, for the production, that's a strong tick. Having the two variants is a nice thing. There's sort of slight twists. You're not necessarily going for one thing, and that can mean that you're not having to shout at a dice because you're not rolling any owls. You might still though, because it still might be the one thing that you can't get hold of when you're trying to get things into your trunk or out of your trunk. So the varieties, the two variants, they feel very much the same because you are rolling the dice. But it's a nice thing that if everyone feels like they're very much on the same playing field, even though you pretty much are when you're playing the storefronts, it's just maybe everyone, for whatever reason, is rolling what you need or what you don't need. So the variety is nice, but they're not actually that different. So there is one thing that a lot of games with dice and luck, Excella and Mischief in Diagon Alley does as well. It levels the playing field. If you're looking for a game that you can play with any age or with any experience level of gamer, veteran, brand new, well, this is the sort of game where it really does level things out. There's no advantage to really knowing the rules because they're so simple. There's no advantage to have played 100 other board games. There's no sort of issue with people of different ages playing. If anything, there might be an advantage to their reactions of being able to see what things they can grab and not grab and go for it. And that's what you want in a family game. You want something that balances it out so everyone has a chance to win. And it's full of luck. If you're not looking for luck, it's not for you. But that is what this game is going to be good for. The luck allows anyone to win. And that could mean, parents win, children win, grandparents win, whoever, brand new people that have never played a board game could win. It gives everyone a chance, a shot at victory. And that's what, you know, the fun of rolling dice is all about. Sort of having that fun, fast, quick paced, and everyone having a shot. And that's what you're going to get with this game. It's Harry Potter themed, it's a bit loose, but the items are Harry Pottery. So, you know, maybe you will get a little bit of extra buzz from Harry Potter fans. But it is for families, I would say, that just want a game that everyone can play and no one be at a disadvantage. And it's really good for that. So that is Mischief in Diagon Alley. I was sent this to review. That doesn't really change how the game plays or my thoughts on it, but that is the game, and you kind of needed to know that. Anyway, check out other news, reviews and such on the channel, and until next time, I'm Oliver East, signing out.